Elena Vasquez walked through the bright white hallways of the Galactic Council Station. Her hands shook as she held the stolen datapad close to her chest. After 30 years as Earth's ambassador, she thought she knew everything about humanity's role in the galaxy. She was wrong. The datapad contained files stolen from the Zephyrian military archives. Elena had risked everything to get them. What she found inside made her sick to her stomach. For 3 decades, humans had served as the galaxy's peacekeepers. They fought in wars across 17 different star systems. Human soldiers died by the millions, believing they were fighting for peace and justice. The truth was much darker. The files showed the real plan. Humans were never meant to be equals. They were tools, weapons. The aliens used them to fight the most dangerous battles, while the real winners split up the conquered worlds behind their backs. The Zephyrians, the Korthak hegemony, and the Veltar Collective had planned this from the beginning. They found Earth 50 years ago and made contact. They offered friendship, technology, and a chance to join the galactic community. But it was all lies. Elena read through report after report. Every time human forces won a battle, alien corporations moved in to take the valuable resources. Every time humans lost soldiers, the aliens calculated how many more battles they could fight before their numbers got too low. But that was not the worst part. The worst part was in the medical files. Elena's hands shook harder as she read them. Every medicine the aliens had given to human colonies contained special chemicals. These chemicals made humans sick in ways they could not see or feel. The aliens were making humans unable to have children, not all at once. That would be too obvious. Instead, they did it slowly over many years. Birth rates on human colonies had been dropping for 20 years. Scientists on Earth thought it was because of stress from war or living on alien worlds. They were wrong. The aliens were killing humanity slowly and quietly. Elena looked at the data about her own colony ship. She had grown up on New Harmony, one of the first human settlements outside Earth's solar system. The medical files showed exactly when the sterilization program started there. It began the year after she was born. Her younger brother had never been able to have children. Her sister had lost 3 babies before birth. Their parents always said it was just bad luck. Now Elena knew the truth. She read further into the files. The plan had 3 phases. Phase 1 was making humans dependent on alien technology and medicine. Phase 2 was the slow sterilization process. Phase 3 would begin when human numbers got low enough. Phase 3 was complete slavery. The files showed meeting notes from last week. The Zephyrian Chancellor had called for Phase 3 to start early. Human colonies were discovering too much. Some doctors on Earth were asking questions about the birth rate problems. The aliens were getting nervous. The humans have served their purpose, the Chancellor had written. Begin complete takeover before they learn the truth. Elena felt cold fear wash over her. This was happening now. Not in years or months. Now. She looked out the window at the beautiful space station around her. Ships from dozens of alien species docked at the massive ring structure. For 30 years, she had thought this place represented hope for the future. Now she knew it was humanity's prison. Her communication device buzzed. A message from Earth asked for her daily report. Elena realized this might be her last chance to warn her people. She connected her datapad to the quantum communication array in her quarters. The stolen files were huge. It would take several minutes to send everything through the secure channel to Earth. Several minutes she might not have. As the upload bar slowly filled, Elena heard footsteps in the hallway outside. Heavy footsteps, multiple sets. They were coming for her. She thought about her childhood on New Harmony. She remembered playing with other human children in the colony gardens. She remembered her parents talking excitedly about humanity's bright future among the stars. They had been so hopeful. The upload reached 60%. The footsteps stopped outside her door. Elena opened another file on the data pad. This one showed the current locations of all human military forces. The aliens had spread them thin across the galaxy. Most human ships were weeks away from Earth or any major human colony. If the aliens attacked now, there would be no way to defend their homeworld. 70% uploaded. A soft knock on her door made Elena jump. A voice spoke in the clicking language of the Zephyrians. She did not understand the words, but she knew what they meant. They were being polite, but they were not asking. 80%. Elena heard electronic beeping. They were overriding her door lock. 90%. The door opened. 3 tall Zephyrian guards entered her quarters. Their insect-like faces showed no emotion as they looked at her. One of them pointed at the datapad in her hands. "Ambassador Elena Vasquez," the leader said in perfect English. "You will come with us." 95%. Elena smiled at them. "I need to finish my daily report to Earth first." The Zephyrian tilted his head. "That will not be necessary. Earth will receive all the reports it needs from us." 98%. Elena's heart pounded. So close. "I understand," she said calmly. She looked down at the datapad as if shutting it off. 100%. Upload complete. Elena pressed one final button on the datapad. This activated her personal emergency beacon. Every human embassy in the galaxy would receive her location and a distress signal. Then she looked up at the Zephyrians and dropped the datapad to the floor. "I am ready," she said. As they led her away from her quarters, Elena felt something she had not expected. She felt proud. For 30 years, she had worked for peace between humans and aliens. She had believed in cooperation and friendship between species. Now she knew the truth, but she had also given her people the truth. What they did with it would determine humanity's future. The guards took her to a small holding cell deep in the station. As the door sealed shut behind her, Elena sat down on the simple bed and smiled. Somewhere in space, her message was racing toward Earth at faster than light speed. Her people would learn what had been done to them. They would learn about the betrayal, the sterilization, and the plans for their enslavement. Elena had lived her whole life trying to build bridges between humans and aliens. Now she had done something much more important. She had given her species a chance to survive. What happened next would be up to them. Fleet Admiral Marcus Chen stood in the deepest bunker beneath New Geneva, 3 kilometers below ground. The stolen alien files played on dozens of screens around the circular war room. Earth's military leaders sat in silence, watching their worst fears come true. The room had been built to survive nuclear war. Now it might need to survive something much worse. Dr. Sarah Kim pointed to genetic data scrolling across her screen. "The evidence is clear," she said quietly. "Every medical treatment they gave us contained sterilization chemicals, birth defects, miscarriages, infertility. It was all planned." Admiral Chen clenched his fists. He thought about his own daughter, who had died as a baby on the Mars colony. The doctors said it was a genetic disorder. Now he knew the truth. "How many?" he asked. 2.4 million human soldiers dead in 30 years, General Roberts answered. "All in what they called peacekeeping missions. We sent our best people to die for their wars." Chen looked at the tactical displays. Red dots showed human military units spread across the galaxy. Most were stationed at the edges of alien space, fighting endless conflicts against pirates and rebels. They had been placed there on purpose, far from Earth and the human colonies. "They made us into their army," Chen said. "Then they put us where we could not protect our own people." Major Williams, the youngest officer in the room, spoke up. "Sir, we are getting reports from the colonies. Strange equipment failures started 3 hours ago, right after Ambassador Vasquez's message arrived." The screens changed to show status reports from human settlements across dozens of worlds. The same pattern appeared everywhere. Communication arrays were failing. Defense platforms were shutting down. Supply ships were disappearing. It is starting, Chen realized. They know we have the truth. This is their Phase 3. Dr. Kim pulled up more data. The medical files show they have been testing biological weapons specifically designed to target human genetics. If they release those... She did not finish the sentence. Everyone in the room understood. Chen walked to the central command console. For 30 years, he had followed orders from the Galactic Council. He had believed they were humanity's friends and allies. He had sent good people to die for their cause. Never again. General Roberts, he said, begin Operation Homecoming immediately. I want every human unit in the galaxy to withdraw from Council operations and return to predetermined rally points. Sir, that means abandoning our positions across 17 star systems. Good. Let the aliens fight their own wars from now on. Roberts nodded and began sending coded messages through quantum networks the Council could not intercept. Across the galaxy, human commanders received the same simple order. Come home. Chen turned to Major Williams. What assets do we have that the Council does not know about? Williams smiled grimly. More than they think, sir. The Prometheus project sites in the asteroid belt have been operating under complete communication silence. Project Forge has been reverse engineering alien technology for 15 years. And the Luna shipyards have been building vessels using our own designs, not Council specifications. This was news to Chen. How many ships? 843, sir. They have been disguised as mining and transport vessels. But they carry full military systems designed specifically for fighting Council forces. Chen felt hope for the first time since reading Elena's files. The aliens taught us to fight their enemies. But they also taught us to fight like them. That was their mistake. Dr. Kim looked up from her genetic analysis. Admiral, there is something else. The sterilization program has a weakness. It was designed to be slow and undetectable. But that means it can be reversed if we have the original medical data. How long would it take? With the alien medical facilities we captured on Kepler-7, maybe 6 months to produce a cure, but only if we can protect those facilities. Chen studied the star maps. Kepler-7 was deep in Council space, defended by their most powerful fleet. Getting there would mean war. War was coming anyway. Major Williams, I want detailed analysis of every battle we have fought for the Council, their tactics, their weaknesses, their supply lines. If we are going to fight them, we need to know how they really operate. Already done, sir. We have 30 years of combat data. The Council species are powerful, but they have weaknesses. They rely too heavily on automated systems. Their commanders are not used to fighting opponents who understand their technology. And they have never faced an enemy that knows all their military protocols. Chen smiled coldly. The aliens had made a fundamental error. They had trained humans to be soldiers, but they assumed humans would always be their soldiers. They never considered what would happen if humanity turned that training against them. Reports continued coming in from across the galaxy. Human colonies were going dark one by one, but the pattern was not random. The aliens were attacking the weakest targets first, small settlements with few defenses. They were avoiding the larger colonies and the industrial worlds. They are being careful, Chen realized. They want to capture our infrastructure intact. They still need us to run the systems they do not understand. General Roberts looked puzzled. What systems? Dr. Kim answered. Humans think differently than they do. Our brains work in ways that alien minds cannot copy. There are certain types of technology that only work with human operators. What kind of technology? The dangerous kind, she said with a mysterious smile. Chen was about to ask for details when alarms began blaring throughout the bunker. Red lights flashed as automated systems detected incoming threats. Council fleet approaching the outer solar system. a technician reported. 300 ships heading directly for Earth. Chen looked at the tactical display. The alien fleet was massive, but it was moving slowly and in formation. They expected Earth to surrender without a fight. How long until they reach orbit? 18 hours, sir. Chen nodded. 18 hours to implement 30 years of planning. 18 hours to prepare for a war that would determine humanity's survival. General Roberts, activate all hidden defense platforms. Dr. Kim, contact the Prometheus Project. Tell them we need their weapon ready in 17 hours. Sir, Major Williams said quietly, are we really going to fight them? Their technology is centuries ahead of ours. Chen looked around the room at the faces of humanity's military leaders. These were people who had spent decades believing the aliens were their friends. Now they had to accept that everything they believed was a lie. The aliens made one mistake, he said. They think they know us. They think they understand how humans fight and how humans think. But they only know the humans they created. They're obedient soldiers and grateful colonists. He pointed to the screens showing human forces converging from across the galaxy. They are about to meet the humans we really are, and we are going to show them what happens when you betray humanity's trust. The war room fell silent except for the hum of computers and communication equipment. Outside, Earth continued its peaceful rotation, unaware that its children scattered among the stars were coming home to defend it. The galaxy was about to learn what humans could do when they stopped fighting for others and started fighting for themselves. Dr. Elizabeth Harper floated in the zero-gravity laboratory deep inside Asteroid Mining Station Series 7. Around her, the most secret project in human history took its final shape. For 15 years, she had worked on something the Galactic Council never suspected humans could build. The aliens thought they understood human technology. They were wrong. Status report, Harper called to her team spread throughout the massive laboratory. Quantum matrix is stable, Dr. Patel replied from his console. The probability calculations are holding at 97% accuracy. Neural interface is responding normally, added Dr. Yamamoto. All test subjects show positive brain activity patterns. Harper smiled as she looked at the weapon that would change everything. It looked simple. Just a metal sphere about the size of a basketball covered in strange patterns that seemed to shift when you looked at them directly. The sphere was called Prometheus Unbound. It was humanity's answer to 3 centuries of alien technological superiority. The story began 20 years ago, when human scientists first started studying captured alien technology. They found something interesting. All alien machines used the same basic power source, exotic matter cores that bent the laws of physics. The cores were amazing. They could power entire cities with energy the size of a marble. They could make ships travel faster than light. They could create force fields that could stop nuclear explosions. But the cores had a weakness that only humans had discovered. They were connected. Every exotic matter core in the galaxy was linked through something called quantum resonance. The aliens used this connection to share information and coordinate their technology. It made their civilization incredibly advanced. It also made them incredibly vulnerable. Harper remembered the day she made the breakthrough. She was studying brain scans of humans who had worked closely with alien technology. The scans showed something impossible. Human brains were interfacing directly with the quantum fields. Alien minds were too organized, too logical to handle the chaos of quantum mechanics. Their thoughts followed clear patterns that made them excellent at engineering and science. But quantum fields were chaotic and unpredictable. Human minds were chaotic too. Where aliens saw dangerous randomness, humans saw opportunity. Human consciousness could hold 2 opposite ideas at the same time. It could believe something was both true and false until the moment of observation. This was exactly what quantum mechanics required. Dr. Harper, her assistant called, we are receiving the activation signal from Earth. Admiral Chen needs Prometheus ready in 16 hours. Harper nodded. Begin final preparations and contact the test subjects. It is time. The test subjects were volunteers from human colonies that had been exposed to alien technology for decades. Their brains had adapted in ways that made them perfect quantum interfaces. They could think in probability instead of certainty. The first volunteer, Maria Santos, entered the control chamber. She had grown up on a space station that used alien gravity systems. Her mind had learned to process the impossible physics as naturally as walking. "I know this is dangerous," Maria said, as technicians attached neural cables to her head. "But if it can stop what they did to my children..." Harper placed a gentle hand on Maria's shoulder. The sterilization program had affected Maria's family like millions of others. Her 2 sons had died before birth due to genetic defects that were not really genetic at all. "The weapon will not hurt you," Harper explained. "Your mind will just tell the exotic matter cores to stop working, all of them, everywhere, at the same time." "How is that possible?" "Because human consciousness can exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously. When you interface with the cores through quantum resonance, your mind will be in 2 places at once, here and in every core in the galaxy." Maria looked confused. "That sounds impossible." "It is impossible," Harper agreed. "That is why it will work. Alien minds cannot do impossible things." "Human minds do impossible things every day," Dr. Patel called from his station. "We have confirmation from the other Prometheus sites. Series 12, Europa Station, and Titan Base are all ready. Their neural interfaces are online." Harper felt a chill of excitement. 4 sites, 4 volunteers, 4 chances to change everything. The plan was simple in concept, but revolutionary in execution. When activated, Prometheus would send Maria's consciousness through quantum space to every exotic matter core in Council territory. Her human mind would destabilize the impossible physics that made the cores work. The effect would be instantaneous and permanent. Every Council ship, every space station, every planetary shield generator would lose power at the same moment. "Dr. Harper," Dr. Yamamoto said quietly, "the moral implications of this weapon concern me. We are talking about disabling the entire galactic infrastructure. Billions of aliens could die." Harper had wrestled with this question for years. The weapon was incredibly powerful. Used wrong, it could destroy entire civilizations. "The cores will not explode," she explained. "They will simply stop working. Alien ships will lose power, but they have backup life support systems. Their cities will go dark, but they have emergency power. People will be scared and inconvenienced, but they will not die. Unless they are in space when it happens." "Yes," Harper admitted. "Ships that depend entirely on exotic matter cores for life support will be in danger, but the Council has been planning to kill every human in the galaxy." "Sometimes you have to choose between your enemy's convenience and your species' survival." Maria spoke from the interface chair. "Doctor, my children are dead because of what these aliens did. Every day we wait, more human babies die before birth. If this weapon can stop that, I am ready to use it." Harper looked around the laboratory at her team. These were the brightest human scientists in the galaxy, people who had spent decades studying alien technology. They had discovered something the Council's greatest minds had missed. Humans were not primitive newcomers who needed alien guidance. They were a species with unique abilities that could reshape the galaxy. "Begin final countdown," Harper ordered. "Prometheus will be ready when Admiral Chen needs it." As the team made their final preparations, Harper thought about what would happen next. For 30 years, the Council had seen humans as useful tools. They had given humanity access to their technology, their shipping networks, and their military systems. They had taught humans to think like them, fight like them, and build like them. But they had never stopped humans from thinking like humans. "Dr. Harper," Maria called from the interface chair, "I can feel something. The quantum fields are responding to my thoughts. Harper checked her instruments. Maria's brain patterns were synchronizing with the exotic matter samples in the laboratory. Even in this small test, the effect was remarkable. "How does it feel?" Harper asked. Maria closed her eyes. "Like I am everywhere at once. Like I am connected to every piece of alien technology in the galaxy." "Because you are," Harper said softly. "And when the time comes, you are going to tell all of it to stop working." "Will it hurt them?" "No more than they have hurt us. But Maria, once we do this, there is no going back. The galaxy will never be the same." Maria opened her eyes and smiled. "Good. It is time for something different." Harper looked at the countdown timer. 15 hours until Admiral Chen needed their weapon. 15 hours until humanity struck back against 3 centuries of alien superiority. The aliens had made one critical mistake. They had assumed that teaching humans to use their technology would make humans dependent on them. Instead, it had given humans the keys to everything they had built. And humans were very good at breaking things when they needed to. Admiral Marcus Chen stood on the bridge of the HSS Defiance as his fleet approached Kepler Prime. The massive ring-world space station hung before them like a metal moon, surrounded by 50,000 alien warships. It was the most heavily defended location in the galaxy. It was also exactly where Chen needed to be. "Admiral," his communications officer reported, "the Zephyrian Chancellor is responding to our request for a meeting. They are granting us safe passage to the station." Chen almost smiled. The aliens thought this was humanity's surrender. They believed Earth's fleet had come to beg for mercy and negotiate terms for their species' survival. They were half right. This would determine humanity's survival. But there would be no begging. "Signal the fleet," Chen ordered. "Maintain formation and follow standard diplomatic protocols. We want them to feel completely safe." 1,200 human ships moved slowly toward the alien station. They looked small and primitive compared to the sleek council vessels surrounding them. The aliens had better shields, faster engines, and more powerful weapons. None of that mattered anymore. Captain Rivera, Chen's second-in-command, spoke quietly. "Sir, are you certain about this? Once we activate Prometheus, there will be no going back." Chen thought about Ambassador Elena Vasquez, still imprisoned somewhere on the station ahead of them. He thought about his daughter who had died as a baby due to alien poison. He thought about 2.4 million human soldiers who had died fighting the Council's wars. "They made their choice 30 years ago," he said. "We are just delivering the consequences." The human fleet entered the defensive perimeter around Kepler Prime. Alien ships moved to escort them, their weapons powered but not aimed. The Council was being cautious, but not hostile. They wanted to show their overwhelming superiority without starting a fight they thought they had already won. "Incoming transmission from the station," the communications officer announced. "Chancellor Zefkar wants to speak with you directly, Admiral." Chen straightened his uniform. This would be the last conversation between humanity and the Council as unequal partners. The main screen activated, showing the insect-like face of the Zephyrian Chancellor. His mandibles clicked in what Chen had learned was alien amusement. "Admiral Chen," the Chancellor said in perfect English, "I must admit surprise at seeing you here. I expected Earth to send diplomats, not military commanders." "I am here to discuss terms," Chen replied calmly. "Excellent. The terms are simple. Humanity will submit completely to Council authority. Your military will be disbanded. Your colonies will be administered by our governors. In return, we will allow your species to continue existing as our servants." Chen looked around his bridge at the faces of his crew. These were people who had spent their entire careers believing they served the cause of galactic peace. Now they knew they had been fighting for their own enslavement. "Those terms are unacceptable," Chen said. The Chancellor's mandibles clicked faster. Admiral, you seem to misunderstand your position. You are surrounded by 50,000 of our finest warships. Your entire fleet could be destroyed in minutes. I understand our position perfectly, Chen replied. We are exactly where we need to be. He turned to his tactical officer. Commander Park, please signal Dr. Harper. Tell her it is time. Chancellor Zefkar leaned forward on the screen. Time for what, Admiral? Chen looked directly into the alien's compound eyes. Time for you to learn what happens when you betray humanity. 4,000 light-years away on Series 7, Dr. Harper received the signal. She turned to Maria Santos, who lay connected to the Prometheus device through dozens of neural cables. Maria, are you ready? The woman nodded, her eyes closed in concentration. I can feel them, Dr. Harper. Every exotic matter core in the galaxy. They are all connected. Just like you said. Remember, you are not trying to destroy them. Just convince them to stop working. I understand. Maria took a deep breath. For my children. For all our children. Harper activated the quantum transmitter. Prometheus is live. Maria, the cores are yours. On the bridge of the Defiance, Chen watched the seconds tick by on his chronometer. Around him, 50,000 alien ships continued their patrol patterns, completely unaware of what was about to happen. Admiral, Captain Rivera whispered, are you certain this will work? Dr. Harper says human consciousness can exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously, Chen replied. We are about to find out if she is right. Chancellor Zefkar was still talking on the screen, explaining the details of humanity's coming enslavement. Chen was not listening. Instead, he watched the countdown timer reach 0. At that exact moment, 4,000 light-years away, Maria Santos opened her mind to the quantum field that connected every piece of Council technology. Her human consciousness spread through subspace at faster than light speed. In less than a second, her thoughts touched every exotic matter core in the galaxy. And she told them all the same thing. Stop. The effect was instantaneous. Every light on Kepler Prime went out at once. The massive station, which had glowed like a small star, became a dark ring of metal floating in space. Emergency lighting flickered on in some sections, but the main power grid was completely dead. Around the station, 50,000 Council warships went dark. Their engines stopped. Their weapons powered down. Their shields collapsed. In the space of a single heartbeat, the most powerful fleet in galactic history became 50,000 pieces of drifting metal. On the bridge of the Defiance, Chen watched the alien Chancellor's image flicker and disappear as the communication system failed. Emergency lighting came on throughout the Council station, casting strange shadows through the windows. Report, Chen ordered calmly. All Council ships show no power signatures, his tactical officer reported. The station's exotic matter core has shut down completely. They are running on emergency backup systems only. Our ships? All systems normal, sir. Prometheus did not affect any human technology. Chen nodded. Human technology was based on different principles than Council systems. The weapon had been designed specifically to target exotic matter cores while leaving human equipment untouched. Signal the fleet, he ordered. Begin rescue operations. I want teams aboard every disabled Council ship to prevent life support failures. Captain Rivera looked surprised. Sir, we are going to help them? They are defeated, not dead, Chen replied. We are not monsters. Across the battlefield, human ships moved to assist their former enemies. Council vessels that depended entirely on exotic matter for life support received emergency power cells and oxygen supplies. On the station, Chen's boarding teams found chaos, but not disaster. The Council had backup systems for essential functions. People were scared and confused, but they were alive. Admiral Chen transported to the station with a full security detail. He found Chancellor Zefkar in the Emergency Command Center, staring at displays that showed the scope of humanity's victory. "How?" the Chancellor asked in a broken voice. "You taught us to be warriors," Chen replied. "You showed us your technology. You gave us access to your networks. You made one mistake. You assumed we would always fight for you instead of against you. This is impossible. Your species lacks the mental capacity for quantum manipulation." Chen smiled coldly. "That is what you never understood about humans. We specialize in impossible things." The Chancellor looked around at his darkened command center. "You have destroyed galactic civilization. Billions will die when our infrastructure collapses." "Your infrastructure is not destroyed," Chen corrected. "It is just turned off. The question is whether you want our help turning it back on." "What do you want?" Chen handed him a datapad containing humanity's demands. "First, the immediate release of all human prisoners, starting with Ambassador Vasquez. Second, complete medical data to reverse the sterilization program. Third, reparations to human colonies for 30 years of exploitation." The Chancellor read through the list, his mandibles clicking in distress. "These terms would make humans the dominant species in the galaxy." "No," Chen said firmly. "These terms would make humans equal partners. The choice is yours. Work with us to rebuild what we just broke, or spend the next century trying to restart your technology while we patrol the galaxy with the only working starships." Chancellor Zefkar looked at the human admiral standing calmly in his ruined command center. For 3 centuries, the Council had ruled through technological superiority. In a single moment, that advantage had vanished. "You truly are a dangerous species," he said finally. "Only when betrayed," Chen replied. "We prefer to be friends, but we will never be slaves." The Chancellor set down the datapad. "I accept your terms." Admiral Chen nodded. The war that had lasted 30 years was over. It had ended not with a great battle, but with a single perfect strike that changed everything. Humanity had learned to fight like the aliens taught them, but in the end, they had won by thinking like humans. 6 months after the Prometheus event, Elena Vasquez stood in the observation deck of New Geneva Station, watching human ships depart for distant stars. The station had been built from the salvaged remains of the Council's former capital, and it now served as humanity's first galactic headquarters. Elena had survived her imprisonment on Kepler Prime, rescued when human forces stormed the station after the Council's technology failed. She now held the title of Galactic Coordinator, representing Earth's interests across the galaxy. The irony was not lost on her. She had spent 30 years as an ambassador trying to build friendship with aliens who were planning her species' destruction. Now she was helping to rebuild a galaxy where humans had become the dominant power. "Coordinator Vasquez," her aide announced. "Chancellor Zefkar is here for his weekly report." Elena nodded. The former ruler of the galaxy now reported to her about reconstruction efforts in Zephyrian space. It was the arrangement that would have been unthinkable 7 months ago. The Zephyrian Chancellor entered the office with 2 human guards. His once proud bearing had been replaced by careful deference. The Council species had learned quickly that their survival depended on human goodwill. "Coordinator," he said formally, "I have the latest reports from the mining worlds." Elena reviewed the data on her tablet. Since the Prometheus event, humans had taken control of exotic matter production throughout the galaxy. The aliens could not restart their cores without human assistance, giving Earth complete leverage over galactic energy supplies. "Production is up 12% this month," she noted. "Your people are adapting well to the new safety procedures." The Chancellor's mandibles clicked nervously. "Some of my advisors question the need for human oversight of our own mining operations. Your advisors are welcome to explain that to the families of workers who died in mining accidents before we implemented proper safety standards," Elena replied calmly. Human oversight continues until your safety record matches our requirements. It was not just about safety. Elena knew the real reason for human oversight was to prevent the Council species from developing new weapons or restarting their sterilization programs. Trust would take time to rebuild, if it ever could be rebuilt at all. There is another matter, the Chancellor said hesitantly. The Veltar Collective is requesting permission to reactivate their exotic matter cores for interstellar travel. Elena considered this. The Veltar had been the most aggressive supporters of the sterilization program. Their worlds had been without faster-than-light travel for 6 months as punishment. Have they completed the required war crimes tribunals? Yes, Coordinator. 17 of their leaders have been found guilty of genocide and are serving prison sentences on human-administered worlds. And the reparations payments to affected human colonies? All payments are current? Elena made a note on her tablet. Very well. Dr. Harper's team will reactivate 1 core per week until their fleet is operational. But all Veltar ships will carry human observers until further notice. The Chancellor nodded gratefully. Even limited space travel was better than being trapped in their home system. After he left, Elena walked to the large window overlooking the station's docking bays. Ships from dozens of species came and went, but now they all operated under human-issued permits and followed human-designed safety protocols. Dr. Sarah Kim appeared beside her, carrying a medical scanner and a satisfied expression. Good news, Dr. Kim announced. The first generation of babies born after the sterility treatment is completely healthy. Birth rates in human colonies are returning to normal levels. Elena smiled. This was what mattered most. The future of the human species was secure. The alien poisons had been neutralized using medical data taken from Council archives. Children could be born normally again. Any word from the exploration fleets? Elena asked. Admiral Chen reports first contact with 3 new species in the Outer Rim, Dr. Kim replied. All of them were unaware of the Council's existence. They seem interested in trade agreements. Elena nodded. Humanity was expanding into regions of space the Council had never explored. Without the restrictions of alien oversight, human ships could go anywhere their courage could take them. Dr. Kim, I want medical teams with all exploration missions, full genetic screening for any diseases or treatments offered by new species. Already arranged, Dr. Kim assured her. We will never again accept alien medicine without complete understanding of its effects. Elena's communication device chimed with an incoming message from Earth. President Martinez appeared on the small screen, calling from his office in New Geneva. Elena, how are the reconstruction efforts progressing? Better than expected, Mr. President, she replied. The Council species are cooperating fully. Most of their technology will be operational within the year. And the moral implications? Some people on Earth are concerned that we have become too much like our former oppressors. Elena had wrestled with this question every day since the Prometheus event. Humanity now controlled galactic civilization through superior technology and military force. They were in the same position the Council had once held. The difference is accountability, she said. Every decision we make is subject to review by elected representatives from human colonies. We have war crimes tribunals for our own people if they abuse their authority. And most importantly, we are not trying to wipe out other species. President Martinez nodded. The galaxy is fortunate that humans value justice as much as they value survival. After the call ended, Elena returned to her desk and reviewed the daily intelligence reports. These painted a picture of a galaxy slowly adapting to new realities. On the former Council worlds, alien governments were implementing human-style democratic reforms. The old system of rule by technological superiority had been replaced by systems that required public accountability. Human colonies that had been struggling to survive were now prospering. With access to exotic matter technology and freedom from council taxation, human settlements were expanding rapidly across dozens of star systems. Most importantly, the galaxy was more peaceful than it had been in centuries. The endless wars that had consumed human soldiers were over. Without the Council's policy of using humans as expendable shock troops, most conflicts had simply ended. Elena's aide returned with another visitor, Dr. Harper, looking tired but satisfied. "Coordinator," Dr. Harper said, "I wanted to update you on the Prometheus research. We have been studying the long-term effects of the quantum cascade." "Any problems?" "Quite the opposite. The cascade seems to have created permanent quantum barriers around Council exotic matter cores. Even if they wanted to restart the sterilization program, their medical technology can no longer produce the necessary chemicals." Elena felt a weight lift from her shoulders. The threat of alien biological warfare had been permanently eliminated. "There is something else," Dr. Harper continued. "The quantum barriers are spreading. Any new exotic matter cores built using Council techniques will automatically include the same limitations." Meaning that any species that tries to weaponize exotic matter the way the Council did will find their technology automatically disabled. The galaxy now has a built-in defense against technological tyranny. Elena smiled at the beautiful irony. Humanity's single devastating strike had created permanent safeguards against the kind of oppression they had suffered. "Dr. Harper, I want you to teach this technology to representatives from other species. Not how to build weapons like Prometheus, but how to create similar defensive systems." "You want to give away our greatest advantage?" "I want to ensure that no species ever again gains the power the Council once held over others," Elena replied, "including us." As the day ended, Elena stood once more at the observation window. Human ships continued to depart for distant stars, but now they carried explorers and traders instead of soldiers. They were building a new kind of galactic civilization, one based on cooperation instead of domination. The galaxy had learned what happened when humanity was betrayed. Now, it would discover what happened when humanity was trusted to lead. The difference, Elena hoped, would last for generations. In the depths of space, Maria Santos continued her work at the Ceres 7 research station. Her consciousness remained connected to the galaxy's quantum fields, monitoring the exotic matter network that powered galactic civilization. She had become humanity's guardian, ensuring that the tools of oppression could never again be turned against the innocent. Her sacrifice had given her people not just victory, but the power to protect others from the same fate. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders yet to be discovered. Humanity would explore it all, not as someone else's soldiers, but as free people choosing their own destiny among the stars. The age of human servitude was over. The age of human responsibility had begun.